YouTube, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, guys, I'm going to be giving you the best loadout to use in Warzone for every Cold War submachine gun. As we know, with the Season 4 Reloaded update that we received not too long ago, it nerfed several guns. So today I'm going to be breaking down those attachments and everything that you need to be using after that update. Nearly all the Cold War SMGs were nerfed in some sort of way, so there are definitely a few different attachments to make the gun perform at its best. So with that, if you guys do go on to enjoy today's video or find it useful in any sort of way, definitely let me know by dropping a like and comment down below. It is always greatly appreciated. And if you guys are part of this 95% of people who watch my videos and aren't subscribed, I post a lot of Warzone best class setups, Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, gameplays, and more. So if that's something you guys are interested in, definitely feel free to subscribe to never miss out on one of my videos. So with all of that out of the way, let's hop right into these best class setups for every Cold War submachine gun. So starting us off for our first one, we have the LC10. Now the LC10 has always been a very viable option, and nothing has really changed in Season 4. This loadout is an absolute beam. It barely has any recoil, and the TTK is very quick with it. This class setup can get the job done from long, close, and medium range with ease, so here's what we're rocking with. The sound suppressor for the muzzle, the 11.9 reinforced heavy for the barrel, the ember sighting point for the laser, the field agent grip for the underbarrel, and then finally for the ammo we have the 55 round mag on. So the perks you're going to want to use with this LC10 build, you're going to use double time, overkill, and then amped, and then for the lethal we have the Semtex. You can put on whatever you prefer, and then for the tactical we are using the heartbeat sensor. So moving right along to our next SMG, we have the Bullfrog. The Bullfrog is a great secondary weapon to be using up close. The TTK is great, it barely has any recoil, and it's a very mobile SMG. So you're going to want to use the Grew suppressor, the 7.6 rifled barrel, the ember sighting point for the laser, the Spetsnaz grip for the underbarrel, and then finally for the ammo we are using the 65 round mag, but feel free to throw that 85 round mag on if you feel that you need it. And the perks you're going to want to use for the Bullfrog are double time, overkill, and then amped, and then finally you have the lethal as the Semtex, and then the tactical as the heartbeat sensor. If you guys want to throw around the perks a little bit, I definitely recommend putting on restock, but then also putting on stuns. And then of course, if you guys want to use this as a ghost class, throw that on and just put it as your primary weapon. So moving on to our next SMG, we have the MP5. This loadout is probably one of the most competitive SMG loadouts that you can be using right now in Warzone Season 4. This build has one of the quickest TTKs in the game from up close, and it barely has any recoil, so I definitely recommend that you give this one a go. We're rocking with the agency suppressor, the ember sighting point, the Raider stock, the 50 round mag, and then finally we have the serpent grip on. Then for the perks we have double time, overkill, and amped. For the lethal we have the throwing knife, and then for the tactical we are using the heartbeat sensor as usual. And of course, feel free to switch around the perks and tactical and lethal to what you prefer. So moving on to our next SMG, and that is the Mac10. This Mac has always been a very viable option for the past few seasons now, and nothing is really different in the middle of Season 4. This thing still has one of the quickest fire rates in the game, giving it one of the quickest time to kills in the game from up close as well. There is still not too many guns that can compete with the Mac up close, so you're definitely going to want to give this one a go if you haven't already in Season 4. So the class setup we're using is the agency suppressor, the 5.9 task force, the SAS combat stock, the 53 round drum mag, and then finally the drop shot wrap. So for the perks we're using double time, overkill, and then amp. Double time really helps out with this SMG because it's very mobile, so you get around the map very quick with it. For the lethal we have the Semtex, and for the tactical we are using the heartbeat sensor. So moving right along to our next gun, we have the PPS8. Ever since this gun has been introduced into Warzone, it has always been fairly good, and nothing is really different with it in the middle of Season 4. It's a very viable secondary to use, it has a great time to kill, and it barely has any recoil. So you're going to want to use the Grew suppressor, the 14.9 reinforced heavy, the ember sighting point, the Spetsnaz grip, and then finally the 55 round drum mag. For the perks we got double time, overkill, and then amped. For the lethal we have the throwing knife, and then finally for the tactical we are using the heartbeat sensor. So moving right along to our next gun, we have the Milano 821. Even though this thing received a nerf in the Season 4 Reloaded update, it's still absolutely insane and gets the job done. It still has very minimal recoil on console and on PC, and it also still has a fairly quick time to kill. So you want to rock with the agency suppressor, the 9.5 rifled, the ember sighting point, the bruiser grip for that better mobility, and then finally that 55 round drum mag. These larger mag sizes always help out, especially on SMGs, so that's why you always want to use them. So for our perks we're using double time, overkill, and then amped. For the lethal we have the throwing knife, and then for the tactical we are using the heartbeat sensor. Using double time with this Milano definitely helps you get around the map fairly quickly because of how small and mobile this gun is. So moving right along to our next SMG, we have the KSP45. I personally don't have this thing fully leveled up, but this class setup that I'm using for my level really works well, so here's what you want to use. The sound suppressor, the 10.5 reinforced heavy, the 2x optic, the 42 round mag, and then finally the drop shot wrap. Although this thing received a nerf in the Season 4 Reloaded update as well, it still has great damage and it only takes a few bursts to down your opponent. So moving right along to the perks, we have double time, overkill, and then amped. For the lethal, we have the throwing knife, and then finally for the tactical, we are using the heartbeat sensor. So moving on to the last SMG that we're going to cover in this video, we have the AK74U. This thing has great damage and barely any recoil, so here's the class setup you're going to want to use. For the muzzle, we have the GRU suppressor. For the barrel, we have the 9.3 VDV reinforced. For the laser, we have the Ember sighting point. For the underbarrel, we have the bruiser grip, and then finally for the ammo, we have the 50 round mag. And then for the perks, we are using double time, overkill, and then amped. Feel free to use whatever you prefer. For the lethal, we have the throwing knife, and then for the tactical, we're using the heartbeat sensor. So there you guys have it. These are the best loadouts that you need to be using on every one of your Cold War SMGs right now in Season 4 Warzone. Yes, there definitely is some alternate setups for some of these loadouts that you can be using right now that are still very good, but the ones that I went over today are definitely some of the best, especially with the Season 4 Reloaded weapon tuning. So with all that, guys, if you did go on to enjoy today's video or found it useful, definitely let me know by dropping a like and comment down below. It is always greatly appreciated. And of course, guys, if you are new around here, I post a lot of Warzone best class setups, tips and tricks, Call of Duty news, gameplays, and more. So if that's something you guys are interested in, definitely feel free to subscribe to never miss out on one of my videos. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.